Hi guys.
We're going to start in around 5 minutes. Okay, we're going to start now. So for this week, we're going to go over some real-world applications of molecules in research. And this week is kind of different from the other weeks because we'll be going over some like research and different like new concepts in molecular biology, so you can get inspiration for stuff like research projects, and it can also be helpful for other contests such as USABO. Okay, so first, we're going to go over the fields of research related to molecular biology. So, molecular biology consists of gene therapy, which is basically like altering genes for therapeutic functions, the formation and function of cellular components, drugs and treatments, cancer and molecular cloning and CRISPR. And for biochemistry, it's really closely related to molecular biology because it's basically the first like fundamental part of molecular biology. And some research fields in biochemistry include causes and cures of diseases, nutritional deficiencies, protein folding, and the Human Proteome Project. And we won't go over all of these in our slides, but you can always research these on your own.
So our first applications are ADCs and mABs, and these are both drugs used to treat cancer. And ADCs, they stand for antibody drug conjugates, and basically they're complex molecules of an antibody linked to a biologically active anti-cancer. So they combine the targeting capabilities and the cancer killing capabilities. So if you know what chemotherapy is, basically the chemotherapy in like summary, chemotherapy kills all the cells, including the cancer cells, and but ADCs, they kill the cancer cells while keeping other cells healthy, which is unlike chemotherapy. And then mAbs stand for monoclonal antibody drugs, and they're made by identical cloned immune cells, and they bind to the same part of the antigen, and they're possible to produce at almost any substance. So researchers can design antibodies that specifically target a certain antigen, such as one found in cancer cells, and then they can make copies of that antibody in the lab. And then small molecules are a lower molecular weight organic compound that may regulate a biological process. Many small molecules are used in drugs. This is because the molecule has such low molecular weight, below 900 Daltons, so they can enter cells easily. And once they're inside, these drugs can impact other molecules such as proteins. They're also used to kill cancer cells. Small molecules have no overall electric charge and have strong covalent bonds. And small molecules are being used to target unfolded protein response, which will treat many human diseases. And they account for 71% of new molecular entries for FDA approval. And between 2010 and 2015, small molecules accounted for 71 and 81% of new drug approvals.
So I'll be talking about monoclonal antibodies, which is like focusing on what mAbs are. And monoclonal antibodies are basically designed antibodies that target a certain antigen. So, as you may know, the body's immune system attacks foreign substances by making large numbers of antibodies. And an antibody is a protein that sticks to a specific protein called an antigen. So, if you design certain antibodies that target certain antigens, that means you can treat many different diseases, and you can treat stuff like cancer and other like highly um other diseases that are hard to target with other types of medicine. So antibody no monoclonal antibodies are made of either murine, which is made from mouse proteins, or chimeric, which is like a combination of part mouse and part human, and humanized, which is small parts of mouse proteins attached to human proteins, and human, which are fully human proteins. And monoclonal antibodies are really important and useful because they're highly specific and non toxic. So, if you imagine an antibody will only attack a certain antigen, which is why they're super specific, and they're non toxic because antibodies are basically found in your body, unlike small molecules, which are like synthesized from types of chemicals that might not be found in your body. And monoclonal antibodies restore or enhance the immune system's attack on diseased cells. Finally, you can use monoclonal antibodies for cancer treatment because if you boost someone's immune system against cancer cells by attaching like monoclonal antibodies to them and acting as a marker for the human body's immune system to destroy the tumor cells. So the antibodies will attach to the tumor cells, and then other types of like immune system cells such as blood cells will attack those tumor cells and kill them. And finally, for COVID treatment, these are also useful because they will probably attack the COVID cells that have certain antigens, and you can just mark those cells and have other types of immune system cells attack those as well. And finally, I'll be going over some drug delivery barriers and methods to overcome these barriers. So, some like obvious barriers are physical barriers such as your skin, because it's really hard to like overcome the three layers of your skin because they're built to protect your body, right? And another barrier is myelin surrounding nerve cells. So myelin is this sort of like coating around nerve cells that allow nerve cells to function faster. And the myelin sheath is basically the coating. And because it's hard for drugs to go past this myelin sheath, it's one of the barriers for your like brain as well. And for general delivery, enzymatic degradation is a big barrier because enzymes might enzymes might denature when there's like when they're in an environment where they're not used to. And also it's super non-specific if you just like generally orally ingest these drugs. And systemic barriers include clearance by the kidney or liver, because the kidney will regulate the substances that go into your body and secrete the substances that are possibly dangerous. And the liver also does like a similar thing. And it will most likely secrete the drugs that you want in your body. And local barriers include physical barriers, as mentioned before, and myelin and the blood-brain barrier. And muscle tissue damage is also a local barrier because your muscles might be damaged from the drugs. And for oral barriers, there are variations in pH, so enzymes will be denatured once they get into your mouth. And physical mucosal or epithelial barriers, and basically that's where the mucus in your mouth or in your throat will degrade the enzymes or chemicals. And methods for overcoming these barriers are polymeric scaffolds. So, polymeric scaffolds are basically biodegradable polymers, and these are naturally occurring. So, these polymers will help, like, they will basically act as a scaffold that will help the chemical or drug that you're trying to deliver enter the body easily. And nanoparticles are also a possible solution because they have high solubility and they're really specific. And finally, they have a high therapeutic index, so the amount of drug that can be delivered is higher. And yeah, now we're going to go into breakout rooms, but like we can't really do that because we only have two people. So we're going to discuss some personal ideas and other potential applications for molecular biology. Does anyone have any like ideas for some research projects that you can do with like the information we presented? Ask you to unmute.
Okay, I can start us off. Well, I know this is like kind of a thing already in like humans, but like editing like genomes and like DNA, but I thought maybe it would be cool to like, because I'm pretty sure they don't really do it in animals yet. So I'm wondering if that's like a possibility.
Yeah, I agree. That's a really good idea. Wait, I think it would be cool if we also made some sort of molecule that has like that's attached to an antibody. So like we can design some sort of linker that like attaches an antibody to like the molecule, and then after it binds the antigen, the molecule will be released.
That's a really good idea.
Okay, James, do you have any ideas? You can put it in the chat too. Oops.
And I mean, you don't have to be specific. You could just say like something that'll help climate change or like agriculture or but yeah, there's already so many applications and like ideas out there. There's like so much you can do.
Okay, I guess it's okay if no one has any ideas. But um okay. We can move on, but if anyone has any ideas, you can still put it in the chat. Okay, so for homework, there's no homework for this week, but there are a few useful places to find open access research, so you can like research stuff on your own. PubMed is a really good one. So it's basically, wait, let me, pub. Yeah, basically it's an open access journal. Okay, so if you can see here, you can just search up anything basically. Like let's say monoclonal antibodies. And like all of these are free. Like you can see here, these are free. And you can just click on them and read about everything. Like,
Yeah, I also put it in the chat if you want to check it out.
yeah, it's super cool. And another one is Science Direct. Let me. Yeah, so this one's like not always free, but most of them are pretty like good. And this is like more related to general stuff. PubMed is more related to medicine. So yeah, you can just like let's see. Yeah. So you can just like when you have time, you can just read through these articles, and then you can enter in certain research competitions such as I know around here it's synopsis, but if you live in other places, you can enter in your local science fair, and then it basically gets funneled into the ISEF or the Intel Science Engineering Fair, and you can win some really cool prizes. Yeah. All right. And these three are like um basically the same thing as Science Direct. They're like kind of like journals. And Google Scholar is also really good because you can like put filters for exactly what you want. You can like put filters for like whether they're free or not and find the free articles. All right, thank you guys so much for coming. And if you have any questions, you can visit our web. You can email us at STEM Enrichment Youth and visit our website. And thank you guys so much for coming.
Eileen, I think that's how you say your name. I know you like. I think you joined late, so if you want, we could go over what we just went over with you. But if not, we also record this, so we'll post it too. Yeah, so if you want, we could like do, we can go over what you missed, or you can watch the recording later. So it's up to you. You can just type in the chat. Everyone else, you're free to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can do a recap.
So first we went over like the two fields of molecular biology, like research. So there's molecular biology and biochemistry. So molecular biology is more related to like molecules and stuff like gene therapy, drugs, and cancer and molecular cloning. For biochemistry, it's more about like the chemical aspect of things. So it's like causes and cures of diseases, which is like in general related to molecular biology, but more specifically, we can go over nutritional deficiencies, protein folding, and the Human Proteome Project because those are all like specifically um, like molecules, I guess, in chemistry. And then
And then we talk about like applications. So like ADCs and mABs, they're both drugs that are used to treat cancer. And ADCs stand for antibody drug conjugates, and they're complex molecules of an antibody that are linked to a biologically active anti-cancer. And what they do is they combine targeting capabilities and cancer killing capabilities. And if you know about chemotherapy, chemotherapy, the way it works is it kills all cells, including cancer cells. But ADCs, they're different because they kill the cancer cells while keeping the other cells still healthy. And then mABs, they stand for monoclonal antibody drugs. And researchers can design antibodies that specifically target a certain antigen, like the ones found in cancer cells. And then they can make copies of that antibody in a lab. And then we went over small molecules, which are a lower molecular weight organic compound that may regulate a biological process. And so many drugs are small molecules, and they have no overall electric charge and strong covalent bonds. And an example of a small molecule is that small molecules are being used to target unfolded protein response, which treats many human diseases. And they account for 71% of new molecular entries. And in 2010 and 2015, they accounted for 71 and 81% of the new drug approvals from the FDA.
sorry, okay, and then we went in like more in depth into monoclonal antibodies. So these are designed antibodies that target a certain antigen, and there are four types: murine, chimeric, humanized, and human. So it's basically like varying levels of mice versus human proteins. And monoclonal antibodies are highly specific and non-toxic because antibodies are like found in your body naturally, and they can specifically target certain antigens if you design them in a specific way to like target the antigen. And then antibodies will restore or enhance your immune system's attack on diseased cells, and they're helpful in cancer treatment. So it can target tumor cells or COVID treatment. So you can target like COVID infected cells. And there are several barriers to drug delivery as well. So they include physical barriers and such as your skin and myelin surrounding nerve cells, and general delivery barriers, which are the fact that enzymes will degrade when you just orally ingest them. And enzymes are also somewhat non-specific, and also systemic barriers, which means that like your body systems like will not clear the drugs that you want in your body, but instead they will secrete them. And local barriers, which are physical barriers, myelin, and the blood brain barrier, as we mentioned before, and as well as muscle tissue damage. and oral barriers, which include the fact that variations in pH will cause enzymes to degrade, and there are also varying enzymes in your mouth, and physical or mucosal slash epithelial barriers, which cause the drugs to have a short residence time because they get degraded so easily by the mucus. So some methods are polymeric scaffolds, and which are degradable polymers, and they're naturally occurring, and they will aid your drug like during delivery. Nanoparticles, which have high solubility, specific distribution, and high therapeutic index. So the amount of drug that can be delivered is pretty high. And yeah, that's it for the recap. Do you have any questions, or does anyone else have any questions? Okay, thanks for letting us know. Okay, so we're going to end this call now, and thank you guys so much for coming again. And make sure you check Google Classroom for the slides and the video, which will be posted. Bye, guys.
Thank you.